I'm here with the other production staff guy, Pete Mantell. And without any further ado, let me introduce Sensei Jim Bregman, who was America's first Olympic medalist, a bronze medal in 1964. The following year, he was a bronze medalist in the World Championships, has been Pan American and national champion, and has held the office of USJ president several times. Let me introduce the host, Sensei Jim Bregman.
Thank you, Rob. We have a pleasure today to have an instruction session from two wonderful instructors and coaches, Lisa Capriotti and Rob Gouthro. And with that, I'll turn it over to Rob and Lisa to begin their presentation.
All right, thank you, Sensei. So my name is Rob Gouthro. I'm here with Sensei Lisa Capriotti. Lisa is a national level referee. She is also a multi-time national and Pan American kata gold medalist, as well as the Veterans World Championship from 2016. From 2016, she won Veterans. Behind us, we've got two of our promising young students. We want to include some youth in our presentation. So we've got Darius and Isaiah Dash. They're two of our juniors, and they're going to be helping with the demonstration today. My name's Rob Gouthro. I'm Lisa's kata partner and also a national level referee.
Excellent. So today's demonstration seminar is going to be on basic judo rules and refereeing. So we're going to break it down. This is going to be very introductory. This is a great video for somebody who it's their first time ever doing a competition. This is a great video if you have done a couple competitions, but maybe you need to knock some of the rust off. This is a great video if you're thinking about starting to referee. And we start to referee as young as 12 years old. I even have some 10 and 11-year-olds that will get on the mat for some exhibition matches. So it doesn't matter what age you are. If you're interested in getting involved, either doing scorekeeping or refereeing, then there's a place for you in judo. We love our volunteers. So this video is going to start by talking about all of the different little nuances of how a match is set up. And we're going to talk about the scoring, what gives you a good score, what gives you kind of an okay score, what the scores mean, what the hand signals are. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the really common penalties that we have in judo, so you can avoid them either as a player or as a referee. You can use them to encourage your players to play good judo and to score. And that'll wrap up all of our demonstration today. Okay, so first let's talk about the uniform that we would have for a judoka who is competing. We'll have Darius step up since he is front and center. Now, if you have your judo gi on, the first thing that referees usually look for is the sleeve length, right? This is a perfectly fitting judo gi. His sleeves cover his wrists. Referees have a very specific way that we check the sleeve length. But if your gi passes that little knot on the end of your wrist, you can find it on your own wrist. As long as your sleeve passes that, you're probably good to go. Also, the pants should be not up to there. Okay, and this happens to us when we grow and we grow out of our gi. So as you do, you just want to make sure that you get a properly fitting gi. This is really important for your competitor because if your gi is super duper short and then your opponent tries to get a grip and there's no gi there, that's no fair. We want to be fair in our judo. Okay, so this is a very properly fitting gi, but you may notice a t-shirt. Okay, it's very common when we practice in the gym to wear a t-shirt or a rash guard. But during competition, we don't wear a t-shirt at all when we're competing. If you're a guy, and if you're a girl, you would wear the same style t-shirt, but would be all white. And it should have this kind of crew neck, not a V-neck, just a regular crew neck white t-shirt. It shouldn't have a lot of crazy styles on it, okay? And if it does, sometimes the referee might even ask you to turn it inside out. But a plain white t-shirt is what you should have under your gi if you're a girl, and if you're a boy, nothing, okay? Now, how about on your legs? Some people will wear maybe rash guards on their legs or things like that. You should avoid that in judo. Shorts are best. Having shorts under your gi is the best thing, okay? So that there's no things sticking out. What if you have an injury? Maybe your elbow's bothering you or your ankle's bothering you and you want to wear a brace. That's perfectly fine. Sometimes we even tape those parts of our body. But those braces should never have anything hard. That could be hard plastic or metal, anything like that. You want to take it off. And when you go to the athletic shop, you want to look for one that does not have any hard stuff in it. How about really common, we forget watches or anything around our neck. Same as when we practice in the dojo, nothing around your neck, nothing on your wrists, no rings, nothing like that, nothing hard, okay? Now, I'll ask Darius to step aside for me, and I'm gonna talk a quick bit about what the referee wears. So if you are interested in refereeing, first, what you'll wear are gray pants and a polo. Very simple, gray pants and a polo. It's also important to have black socks on, okay? That your gray pants should have a black belt to hold them up. The polo color is usually black. For junior referees, it's often white, okay? Now, if you don't have that, but you really want to try refereeing, your first couple of tournaments, it's perfectly fine to have this on to referee. And you don't have to have a black belt. You can have any color belt. It's perfectly fine to referee, but only in your white judo gi, only in your white judo gi. And in this case, proper t-shirt, right? It's okay to have this on in the dojo, but if we're out on the mat, we would have no t-shirt, or if you're a girl, a white t-shirt. But perfectly fine to referee in your white judo gi as well. All right, as you go up in the to more sophisticated tournaments, like maybe youth nationals or an international tournament, the referees will always wear a suit. Just looks more professional, okay? And they like to be as professional as they can because they want to demonstrate to the players that they take this seriously and they're really in your court. They don't want to come in all messed up, not having their shirt tucked in or looking messy, right? They want to put their best self forward too, just the same as you would with your gi on. So what would that referee have? First, they would have a black jacket over top of a white short sleeve t-shirt, okay, collar shirt, white collar shirt, black tie, always start black, black jacket, and often they'll have some kind of identification of what their level of referee is. You may notice that I have one here that says, oh, I went the wrong way, sorry. That says national referee. We have a patch for local referee. We have a patch for regional referee. We even have patches for international referee. You may notice international referees are usually easier to pick out because they have a blue tie on, and often their patch is blue, okay? So for your suit jacket, you don't have to go crazy, right? But when you're ready to buy something, you want to just go to the regular Men's Warehouse or maybe even J.C. Penney's, and you want to get a jacket that's a little bit loose, but the sleeves should not cover your whole hand, okay? Right past the wrist is good. Just the same as you would for your judo gi, okay? So this is what the referee would wear. We already talked about what the player would wear. Those are our uniforms. Very important that we have a proper uniform, okay? Let's talk now about how we bow in and bow out to start the match. This is something that a lot of new players have trouble with, and a lot of new referees are unsure how to tell the players how they should bow in and bow out. So for this, Sensei Rob, would you turn the camera just so we can see right here? I'm going to ask Darius to be on this side. I'm going to ask Isaiah to be on this side. And what we have for today, here we go. we have for today is a red competition area and out of bounds is blue. The competition area may change depending on the size of the venue. Hopefully it's about 8 tatamis. 8 tatamis wide. Ours is only 6 tatamis right now, but that's kind of good because our video doesn't have to be as far away. Now, competitors always start outside the mat. They'll usually be over by the stand, over by the seats, waiting for the referee to tell them to come out. Often the referee will do something like this to tell them to come out. It's okay to come out before a referee does that, but you should come out with your opponent, right? It's kind of awkward if you're just standing there and waiting for the other guy to fix his belt while he's over on the side. You can wait and then both come out together. It looks very nice and it's very respectful. Outside of the judo competition area, often many players like to bow. This is optional, but a lot of dojos and a lot of coaches will require it from their students. I know I do for my students, but if it's somebody else's students, I don't require it. It's not required by USA Judo. It's not required by the IJF, but it looks very nice. So this is optional. They would bow into the competition area. This is respect for the competition space, not each other. They're going to do that in a minute. When they come in, they're going to come in. Usually there's lines on the mat, but if there's not, it should be about 2 tatamis away. So they're both 1 tatami off of the center. This is a good starting position. What they're going to do at this point is bow to each other. This is necessary. We always thank our opponent before and after the match. This is very important for the etiquette of judo. As soon as we do so, as soon as we bow, we step up. We're ready to go. So my students are going to demonstrate that. They're going to both bow. At the end of their bow, they're going to step forward and their feet are going to open. Why? Because we bow with our feet together. And when we're ready to fight, our feet are apart in a fighting posture. And then after that, we can move as much as we want to. Okay? Let's step right outside. Sometimes the referee will give you a signal to come into the mat. You don't have to wait for a signal. As long as the referee is ready, you can come in, and at higher level tournaments, you shouldn't wait for a signal. You should just bow into the mat, walk up and bow to each other and wait for the referee to start. But sometimes maybe there's a little confusion. So the referee may indicate for you to come in. That's right, good. And you should bow on your own, but sometimes referees will tell you by doing this. Okay, so this would just mean bow, but you shouldn't wait for the referee. Just go ahead and bow to your opponent. Your opponent almost always, judo play people, if you bow to them, they bow back. So it's very easy. You don't have to wait for them, just bow. Okay? Now, to start the match, right after the 2 opponents bow and step up, you'll hear this word, hajime. And it might sound confusing. Don't worry. Referees are trying to use their diaphragm to speak. And so sometimes it doesn't come out like hajime. Don't worry about it. Okay? When you hear, it's time to go. If you are a referee, you want to speak from here. Not from your lungs, you want to speak from your diaphragm. So that means you tighten your core muscles and you say, hajime. Okay? You make it nice and loud and you make it clear for the competitors. As soon as they hear that, they're going to start their match. So let's try that. Excellent. And I want to stop the match. Excellent. Back here twice. How does the referee signal mate? If you notice, there was no signal for hajime. None at all, just vocal. But for mate, I have my hand extended out and my fingers are closed. Okay? This is always towards the scoreboard. If the scoreboard is over there, it's here. If the scoreboard is behind me, it's here. Mate. My other hand is at my side. It's very important that this is straight, not like this way, because I'm asking for authority. I am trying to say, listen to me. I am here for your safety. I am here to make this match go smoothly and fairly. So I need to say something with authority. and I'm going to extend my hand all the way out and make like a stop signal. So we'll try that one more time. These guys are ready. Their feet are open. They're waiting for the hajime. Ready? And I want to stop them. Mate. Mate means stop immediately. Immediately, right? Because it may be a safety reason. It might be something else, but it may be a safety reason. So mate, always stop immediately. Excellent. All right. Now at the end of the match, the referee is going to award the player. All right. I'm going to award. Let's award Darius this time. It'll be easier to remember. Then I'll remember to, that way I'll remember to award Isaiah next time. No, changed my mind. I'm going to award to Isaiah. Okay, so when I do this, when the referee awards the match, they look at the player, they step forward with their left hand and their left foot, and they indicate which player wins. And they look at that player like, good job, okay? My hand is kind of like a knife edge and usually at an angle. Different referees will do it differently, but that part is always the same. I step up to indicate the player, and then I step back with my right foot, always forward with left, back with right, forward with left, back with right, forward with left, back with right. Excellent. So when these guys see the award, it's time for them to step back and bow to each other. What are they going to step back with? You know the answer because you just told me. Right. They're going to step back right, left, put their feet together and bow to each other. That's right. Excellent. So in the beginning, when the match starts, they bow to each other. Bow. They step forward, left, right. I say hajime. Oh, I say hajime. At the end, I say mate. They go back. I award the winner. Yeah. I award the winner by stepping forward with my left and then my right and indicating the player that wins. I step back with my right and my left, and they step back with their right and their left with their feet together and bow to each other. Very nice. Excellent. We'll talk about all the other words at the end of that. Sensei Rob is just reminding me of another very important word that we're going to talk about in a minute. Okay, so there are a lot of other words that go on, but I wanted to talk about the bowing sequence right there. Okay. All right, so now let's talk about, I'm looking at my list very quickly. Okay, while we're in the middle of the match, these guys are in the middle of the match. Usually we have hajime, they fight. Let's start that. Go ahead, guys. Step in, bow to each other. And Isaiah tears Darius's gi out of his belt. He messes that gi up. He really messes it up. There we go. Oh, yes. And at some point, for some reason, I have called mate. Darius is going to very quietly and politely tuck his gi in while he's waiting for me to say hajime again. Okay? And he's going back to his spot and he's fixing his gi. It's very good to fix your gi in between mate and hajime every time. Fix your gi just a little bit, okay? If it's really, really disheveled, Isaiah's gi is totally disheveled. And maybe his belt even came a little bit loose, all right? The referee will make a signal like this. And that indicates that you should just fix your gi, okay? If you ever see the referee do something like this, looks like they're making a belt over their waist, that means fix your gi. If your gi is totally torn apart, and your belt is hanging off, okay? You can do light little adjustments, but do not untie your belt and fix your whole gi unless the referee does this. If they do, then you can do a whole fix up, okay? Otherwise, you just tuck it in, okay, and keep going. All right, so these guys, maybe something happened and more hajime, and some more happened, and maybe, let's see, Darius, go ahead, throw Isaiah for Ippon. We have a really good throw. Oh, there was a score on that throw. We'll talk about the scores in a second. I love this score. Let's say it's Ippon. We'll talk about this in a second. And everything, no mistakes, good. This is going to be the end of the match. Instead of mate, the referee is going to say sore mate. Sounds like mate, right? Mate, mate. They sound very similar. Unless the referee says mate or sore mate, you keep fighting. You keep going. Get your pin, do whatever. When the referee is satisfied that there is a clear winner for the match, then they will say, sore mate. That means that's all, folks. Time to stand up and bow out. So when do you stop fighting? When you hear mate and sore mate. Every other time you continue to go. How about if you hear Ippon? Did you stop? No. What does Ippon mean? It means I awarded a score, but that doesn't mean that you won yet. Very good chance. Do not look up at the referee and say, okay, I'm done now. Because maybe this Ippon is going to be overruled to Waza-ari or no score. So we don't stop fighting until we hear mate, sore mate. At the end of the match, oh, very good. I'm going to award the win. My players are going to step back with their right left and bow to each other. At the end of that, they'll back off the mat. And this one's optional. They can bow out of the competition area or not. In my dojo, we bow out, and then they'll go back to wherever the holding pen is waiting for the next match. Okay, that's the general outline of a match. Now let's start talking about some of those scores and the hand gestures and what makes a good score or what makes a not good score. If you're very new to judo, there's only 2 scores in modern Olympic judo. There's Ippon, full point, and there's Waza-ari. Sometimes we say half point or it was a good technique. That's what it means. Ooh, you did a technique. That move, that throw, that has technique enough that I want to give it a score. The Ippon and the Waza-ari have a lot to do with the back landing, which we're going to talk about in a second. But in order for a throw to get a full point, an Ippon, it has to have speed, force, control, and be largely on the back. Speed, force, control, largely on the back. So if I throw my partner and I have no control and he just sort of falls down on his own, can't get Ippon for that. Okay. If I throw my partner, but it's like takes 4 or 5 seconds for the throw to finish, can't get Ippon for that. Even if you have good back landing, has to have speed, force, control, and be largely on the back. Okay. How much force? That depends on the players. For little players, the amount of force is smaller than for big players, right? We don't need little players getting really slammed. No, little players don't do that. Smaller players don't have the musculature for that yet, okay? So that force and the speed changes with the age level and your requirements, okay? That you can modulate a little bit. Let's talk about the back. Oh, do I have Sensei Rob? Excellent, okay. So I'm gonna use Sensei Rob to demonstrate what is good back contact for the throw because Sensei Rob has a back patch on. It's not necessary to have a back patch. You really don't need a back patch unless you're going to go to an international competition. Some competitions like the US Open, they may have a back patch for the competition, which is pretty cool. All right. But the back patch is kind of a good outline of where on the back you can get a point. All right. If he lands and it hits right there, it's going to be a point, a full point, an Ippon. But if he lands and it just touches the side right here, going to be Waza-ari or a half. I'm sorry. If he lands and it just hits here, that might be Waza-ari. Okay. If he lands and it hits up here, it's going to be Ippon. Up here, Ippon. Almost always it rolls the rest of the way down. So let's see some examples of a Ippon landing. If you would throw the boys, you can pick any throw you want. Okay. Let's look at some Ippon landings.
All right, Sam. All right, so I have the camera here. So if we do Waza-ari.
Oh, this is Waza-ari. Why? Stand up. Yeah, seriously, stand up. When I say a land, it maybe because I saw on the video. When Isaiah landed, he landed here, this part of his back. So let's do, doesn't have to be, but okay. Oh, this is beautiful. Ippon landing, yes, right here. Is he flat on his back? No, you don't have to be flat on your back for Ippon, okay? Is this largely on his back? Yes, 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 yes. If it's half of your back, that's largely on your back, okay? That's a good Ippon throw. Let's see, maybe Ippon throw. This one? That's perfect Wazari Landing. Hard to see where it is, but look at how, here. Now, throw him the same pin. He's trying to turn out of the throw, right? Bang. In this case, Tori pushes him the rest of the way on his back. This is definitely going to peak. All right, it's part of the throw. Let's do sure. That's it. That's a much easier demonstration of Ippon. Boom! Ippon landing. It started here and went up his back. There's such a thing as a rolling or a moving Ippon. Suppose Isaiah lands here and then is immediately pushed up the rest of his back. This is Ippon. Suppose Isaiah lands here and he is immediately pushed across his back. That's Ippon as well. Okay? Those are all Ippon landing. How about he lands here and he's pushed across this side of his back? Or here and then across this side of his back. Ippon. All Ippon. All right. Let's do can you do rolling Ippon, can you do like a drop? Ippon, say hi. Yeah, and face this way. Perfect. Boom. Okay, this is definitely Ippon landing. The very first impact is at his shoulders, but it immediately runs down the whole rest of his back. This is a great Ippon. Awesome. So now, I'll keep Isaiah here with me for this. We're going to turn this way, and we're going to talk about what you do as a referee, or what you should look for in the referee for Ippon. When you see Ippon, you're going to raise your hand straight up. So not a little bit bent, not like, oh, I'm unsure. Like you're sure this is Ippon. Okay, your hand is going to be closed fingers. Let me see, closed fingers, and it's going to go straight over your head. Boom. As you do that, you're going to usually take a step forward. We're going to step with our left and our right and put our feet together. Boom. At the same time, we're going to use our diaphragm and we're going to yell Ippon. Ready, set, go. Ippon. Good. Let me hear one more time. Let's do the other hand. Ready? Okay. Ippon. Ippon. Good job. Excellent. All right. So how do you look for Ippon? Hand should be straight up. Not this kind. Not a little bit off to the side. Always straight up. All right. If your shoulder is bothering you and it doesn't go super duper straight, that's okay. That's all right. As we get older, it's less and less easy for us to make our shoulder do what we want to. But still, make this attempt to go high up. Fingers together, not like this kind of messy. All right, fingers together. Excellent. All right, so now let's talk about Waza-ari. The other way to score in judo is a Waza-ari or a Waza-ari, if you see it spelled out. And we often think of it as like half a point because you can get 2 Waza-aris and they will equal an Ippon. Well, let's talk about what makes a Waza-ari landing, okay? A Waza-ari landing, let's have Rob or Darius for Waza-ari. Thank you, Isaiah. So Waza-ari landing is going to be the side or the bottom of the back. So Darius, you're going to do your best not to land on your back, okay? So Darius, try to turn on, when he throws you, try to overturn onto your belly. Oh, really? Okay? Try to overturn onto your belly. Yes. Okay. Ooh, that was a really good one. Okay, so this is actually a good Wazari landing. let's move Darius just a little bit this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Okay. So Waza-ari, relax for me, bud, is this side of the back, or maybe a little bit of back. Anywhere here is Waza-ari landing. Okay. As Darius switches over and over and over and over, he's trying to land on his belly, so it's no score. And there are a lot of in-betweens. So when we land on our side here, it's going to be Waza-ari. Go ahead, put that arm out again. We can usually use this arm to indicate to us, I'll spin around in a second, to indicate to us whether a good portion of his side is landing or not. Because you can imagine that it's possible for him to land maybe with his arm behind him. Okay, put your arm all the way behind you. Boom. You think he hit his side if his arm's behind him? Not usually. Bend your arm like the elbow. Yes. How about put this underneath? Like this, with his elbow sticking back here. This is typically not Waza-ari. If we see like this, probably not going to get a score for that. Go ahead up on your elbow so that there's daylight through your body. Yes, look, daylight. No score. He's not on his side. Okay, so if you land on your elbow and there's daylight here, no score. Now, go ahead back on. Let me have this arm here again and twist your feet. Okay, how about something like this? Look, his legs, his hips are forward, right? This should be no score. Doesn't matter what the legs do. We're not looking at the legs. We're looking at this part of the body here, okay? So sometimes we can get confused and we think we turned out because our legs have turned, but it's still Waza-ari. And the good indication of whether this side hit or not is his arm here. If the arm is forward or above his body, often this is Waza-ari. Very good indication it's Waza-ari. If his arm is behind him, bend it behind again. Behind him, or he's up on his elbow, no score. Right? Neither one of these is score. All right, stand up for me, Isaiah. Or Darius. Okay, so how about a situation where we have contact here and we roll to here. Contact, roll here. But we never really touch this center portion of the back. This is going to be Waza-ari. Okay? Same thing can happen on this side, obviously. How about if we landed on one hip and then we immediately rolled to the other hip? This is a little bit difficult to demonstrate in a throw, but I'd like Rob to just demonstrate his back touching him. You know what I'm saying, Rob? Yeah. Just roll across your back. So Rob is really working hard. He's using his shoulder. He's using his stomach muscles. There we go. To keep his back from touching, but he's rolling right over his belt. That's a Waza-ari. That's a very good Waza-ari. Okay, that still counts. How about if he rolls? Can you roll across your top? Yes.
It's kind of hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll show you how. I don't know if I can do this in my suit, but suppose I do this. Okay, that's Ippon. If you roll from this shoulder to this shoulder, that's Ippon. Okay, but if you roll here, that's Waza-ari. How about if I throw? Please throw Darius and Darius. Actually, let's have Darius throw Sensei Rob. Can you land on one elbow? Okay, so throw Sensei Rob with Ouchigari. He's going to land on one elbow. All right. So Sensei Rob is going to really try for this to be no score. Okay, no score. You can sit on your hips. Okay, no score. Right? We talked about this. Daylight. All right. So now Sensei Rob is going to land. Let's just say that he landed with both elbows back. Waza-ari. Waza-ari. Because what's he doing? He's just using his elbows to prevent the back landing. That's not good technique. You should have not got thrown, right? And using your elbows propped behind you is actually very dangerous. I've seen people separate their bicep tendons and hurt their arms, separate their shoulders, hurt their elbows from trying to do things like this. So we want to prevent people from doing this. How about two hands? Oh, even worse for the wrists. Also, still really bad on the shoulders. Could break your elbow. This is also Waza-ari. This is Waza-ari. Don't do this. This is not good technique. How about one hand, one elbow? That's right. Still Waza-ari. Still Waza-ari. How about one hand back? One hand. No score. No score. But once both elbows touch at the same time, or two hands, or one hand and one elbow, this is automatically Waza-ari. Automatically Waza-ari. We don't want you to do that. It's dangerous. Let's do, you know how to do bridge? No? Okay. Suppose you try really hard not to get thrown. And as you're trying really hard not to get thrown, you roll over and you keep your hips off the mat like this. Okay? This is called a bridge landing. And there are many different versions of this, sometimes on the head, sometimes on the shoulders. Okay? You'll see many students do this. This is automatic. This is dangerous. We don't want students to do that. Okay? So if you try to avoid your back touching by bridging, then it'll be Ippon. Can you bridge in groundwork? Of course you can. Please do. But don't bridge to avoid the landing. This can be very dangerous on our neck, right? And so it will be automatic Ippon. Okay, so that is the scores for standing. Let's talk about the scores for Newaza. Let's talk about the scores for Newaza. So Isaiah, put Darius in case of a time. Great, that's good. You can lead first. All right, what makes a good pin? A good pin is when Tori has control of Uke, but Uke is not controlling Tori. Okay? If Uke catches Tori's leg like this, up. Now they're both controlling each other. No pin. Get that leg back out. Awesome. Very good pin. Okay. How about loose the head for a second and just lean on his arm. Now he's just protecting his arm, right? Is this a good pin? No, because Tori doesn't have good control of Uke. Uke can get up. All right. So Tori has to have some of his body on top of Uke for it to be a good pin. Just a little bit. Okay. Doesn't have to be a lot, but you'll notice really complicated pin situations. If Tori is only covering one limb, it's not going to be a pin. All right. Have to have some of your body on top of their body. And that usually happens when you get a head and an arm for a pin line. Okay. There are two ways you can score with a pin. If you pin your opponent for 10 seconds, it's Waza-ari. And for 20 seconds, it's Ippon. 10 seconds Waza-ari, 20 seconds Ippon. 10 seconds Waza-ari, 20 seconds Ippon. Now, does the referee say Waza-ari after 10 seconds? No. They wait for the whole 20 seconds. They don't go Waza-ari and then later Ippon. But if I get all the way to 12 seconds and then Darius gets out. Oh, now this was a pin that was 10 seconds or greater, but less than 20 seconds. I'll award it Waza-ari and they'll keep playing. Okay. But if it gets all the way to 20 seconds, Ippon. Now, what about if the student already has, let's say Isaiah already had a Waza-ari from the throw, or maybe from a previous pin. There's already a Waza-ari on the board. This is going to be his second Waza-ari. The clock goes 7, 8, 9, right at 10 seconds. He gets the other Waza-ari. Waza-ari, awasate, Ippon. That means Waza-ari, but there's already another Waza-ari, so that adds to Ippon. Okay, very general translation. Okay, so it's perfectly fine for a pin to end in only 10 seconds. How about a pin that's 9 seconds? Nothing. Has to be 10 seconds. From the referee's perspective, how do I say it's a pin? I say osai komi. Osai komi. I put 1 foot forward and I lay my hand right on top, just like that. And I hold that pose for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, okay? Same as all of my poses. I hold them for about 2 seconds. What if the scoreboard blinked, or they just took a piece of candy and they missed it? Okay, so I need to hold that for a couple seconds so that they have time to record it. Osaikomi. One foot is a little bit forward. My hand with closed fingers lays right on top. Can it be this hand? Absolutely. Absolutely. I lean over just a little bit. And from a referee's perspective, I try to be near their heads. This is not a good angle. I can't see what's going on with his hands that are controlling the pin. All right, I may be able to see the legs, but I can see the legs perfectly fine from their heads. So as a referee, we try to get near where their heads are when we watch the pin. Doesn't mean that I can't call. I said, Osaikomi, Osaikomi, and then I go over to where his head is so that I can watch it. Okay, Osaikomi. How about Darius gets out of the pin? Boom. Now I make this signal. Okay. Okay. My foot is forward, my body is a little bit bent, and I wave my closed hand back and forth. Okay. I don't do this. All right. Nice and proper. Whole time I have my eyes on the player. I'm not worried. The scoreboard can see me because I do this for 2 or 3 seconds. So I don't have to worry. All right. So let's stand up, guys. All right. I would like to see from my 2 demonstrators. We'll go towards the camera here. I want to see. 1 foot forward. We can face this with 2. 1 foot forward. Hand comes down on top. Looks like, do I do this way? My hand will be up and it'll go on top. Looks like, oh, they got out of it. What are you gonna do? Look at that. That's good. Oh, they're back in. Osaikomi. Look at that. Osaikomi. Look at that. Excellent. Okay, good. Please be, as you get better and better as a referee, you don't want to go Osaikomi, toketa, Osaikomi, toketa, okay? You want to wait until the person is fully out before you say toketa. Let's talk about that a little bit. Say, Rob, can you maybe hold down Isaiah? And Darius, you're going to be my Osaikomi guy, okay? My Osaikomi and toketa guy, okay? So, oh, good pin. Osaikomi, good. All right, Darius is going to start getting out. Darius, I want you to get your head out. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Isaiah. I want you to get your head out. I want you to pull your body, and all the way so that you're on your knees. Oh, what do you say? Look at that. Good, excellent. All right, now this time I want you to leave your head in, but twist your body around and get up on your knees. Osaikomi, Osaikomi, Osaikomi. Good. Still Osaikomi. Yeah, now get your body off the mat. Look at that. Okay. If he still has the head, Sensei Rob can push him back into Osaikomi pretty easily. So don't call toketa early. Wait until Uke gets his shoulders off the mat. Okay. Once Uke's shoulders come off the mat, this is good toketa. All right. How about Isaiah? Go ahead and capture Sensei Rob's foot. But just weakly, because he's going to pull it right back out. He's trying. No, don't let him get all the way in. He's trying, but this is all together. Just get a little bit of foot and then pull it right back out. Don't call toketa for these, right? Wait until Uke strong. Oh, that's a great example. Good job, guys. Those are not toketa, okay? Wait until Uke has a good firm hold before you call toketa. Otherwise, you'll be going Osaikomi, toketa, Osaikomi, toketa. If you're Uke and you're stuck in this pin, make sure you get a good bite of his leg. Make sure you get your shoulders completely off the mat for it to be toketa, okay? So don't just turn out and think it's toketa. You need to get your shoulders off the mat, all right? Very good. Good. Excellent. All right, Pate, stand up. Very good. Okay, now, next way to score is for cadets, advanced cadets, and I should say, is going to be for juveniles, cadets, and adults. And that's a choke. We know we have submissions in judo. We have chokes and we have locks that focus on just the shoulder. You may feel it, I'm sorry, just the elbow. You may feel it in your shoulder, but they're trying to isolate the elbow. They have control over just the elbow. Okay? If a division is juvenile, so this is they're going to be 13 or older that year. They may be 12 years old, but they're going to be 13 in a month. They can be in juvenile. Okay, juvenile, cadets, IJF juniors, and all our senior divisions. There can be chokes. All right, and for chokes, we know tap. Referee calls Ippon. What's important for the referee? It's important that the referee is in a position where they can see the choke and they can stop it immediately. One of the most important things for the referee to be able to do is be able to see if the gi is over the face. All right. So can we set up, just do sitting in front of the camera, okurieri. All right. So this is just a very basic okurieri jime. Okay. Now, do nice and, so this is very good. Rob's hand is definitely underneath of the chin. No gi is across his face. But suppose his arm slips all the way down and he pulls this choke, right, across his face. As soon as you see it across the face, mate. For safety, mate. Okay? If it's right on the edge of his chin, right, and he's working it down, that's okay. All right, that's okay. You can give him a second. But suppose he has it on his chin and he starts cranking it. Mate, immediately, because this can put pressure on the student's spine, right? And we don't like anything that puts pressure on the spine. This is automatic. And if a student does it intentionally, it could be hansokumake. What's hansokumake? Disqualification. Yeah, that's a serious penalty. That's such a bad penalty that you are disqualified, okay? That only happens if you do something very, very, very bad. It doesn't happen too often. Okay? So we've got chokes. We also have arm bars. Now, arm bars are for advanced cadets, so not novice, and advanced or intermediate and advanced seniors, as well as IJF juniors. Arm bars are only going for this here, all right? So no wrist locks, no shoulder locks where I'm pulling the arm up here and stressing the shoulder, okay? Anything like that, you see the student is starting to do it, nothing. They may not know, all right? They may not have realized. It's okay. If they're doing it intentionally, that's okay. Disqualification, all right? So let's demonstrate an arm bar. Let's do Yokoshi Hogatame and Earth. Okay, and let's do, yes, awesome. Okay, Rob is working the bent arm bar. Ude shigi or garan. Sorry. Doesn't matter. Whichever one. There we go. Good. Okay. So here, this is good. And Sensei Rob can isolate the elbow by controlling the shoulder with his arms and then move the arm up in order to put pressure on the elbow. He may feel it in his shoulder, but Sensei Rob is doing a good job of protecting the shoulder as much as he can. If he has tight shoulders, he's gonna feel it in his shoulder. When he gets to a point where it's uncomfortable, okay, he's not waiting for it to hurt. He's waiting for it to get uncomfortable, then Uke is gonna tap. Flip it around the other way. This is a little bit easier. No. This way. Okay, so now, this time, Sensei Rob is not gonna protect the shoulder. He's just gonna twist this sucker in place, okay? This is not protecting the shoulder. He's twisting the shoulder by bending the arm, okay? Really all he's doing is twisting the shoulder. This can be hansokuma, this can be mate, all right? So there's an easy way to do this where you don't, right? If Sensei Rob keeps his elbow against the mat, goes towards Darius's belt, and then travels up Darius's belt. Go ahead. boom. This whole time, his shoulder is protected. Okay, boom. Keep going up, boom, tap. Okay. What Sensei Rob not doing? You do where you bend your whole body up. Sometimes this happens. The player is trying really hard to get this armbar and they're bending their whole body up. This doesn't help Sensei Rob because Darius starts to get out, okay? Because Sensei Rob's not putting pressure on the body, all right? Flip over to your back. Flip over to your belly, on your back, yeah. And one arm behind like uncle. Okay, this is a good situation where it's possible to easily do a shoulder lock. When this hand starts to climb up here, he feels it, okay? That's a shoulder lock. We don't do that. Instead, we leave this elbow at 90 degrees, and Sensei Rob can use this to turn Darius over, all right? Good. All right, good. Turn him over, front of his head, boom. Then he can do his arm bar, all right? But he does not put pressure on the shoulder. And always protecting the shoulder and making the bar go in very close to the body. So here and then up, boom, good arm. Okay, awesome. This happens a lot with little kids. They get their arm behind them, okay? Or do Casey comment and try to get out the wrong way. Casey Katame, and Darius starts going that way. And he does it so much and he's so flexible that he starts barring his own arm. Okay, his arm gets all the way behind his body, you know? This sort of thing happens sometimes with the kids, okay? This is not Mate, right? He's doing this to himself. If you see where Uke is sacrificing his own limb, that's Uke. Uke cannot do that. Uke's coach needs to say, don't go that way, okay? You're hurting your own arm. Same thing can happen if Sensei Rob has a hold of the gi and Darius tries to choke himself with it, okay? And then the coach says, he's choking him, he's choking him. He's not choking him, he's choking himself. This is okay. Tori could have better technique, but Uke can take himself out of it at any time, okay? That's okay, that's okay, that's not choking, all right? Good, excellent. All right, we'll stand up. There are a lot of things that we could cover here, but we're going to keep a little bit simple for right now. Okay, so that covers all of our scores and our hand gestures for our scores. Now we're going to talk about some penalties for Shidos. We think about penalties. You guys can sit down for a second. We think about penalties. Sometimes it's like penalty is a bad thing. You don't want to get a penalty, right? Oh, the referee gave me a penalty. He doesn't like me, that kind of thing. Penalties, don't think about it like that. A better concept for a penalty is instead of thinking about it as a penalty, think about it as a warning. Think about it as an instruction from the referee. I, as a referee, when I see somebody who is doing something that I consider a penalty, it's hurting their ability to win. I want them to have their best judo game out there. I want them to be as close to winning as possible. I want them to put their best foot forward. And when they do something that's hurting their own chances of winning, a lot of times there's a penalty, okay? It's not really a penalty. I'm not trying to say that person's bad, but I am trying to say if you do it a different way, there's a good chance that you can win this match. So think about it as a warning. The referee is telling you how to win. So let's talk about some very, very common penalties, all right? And now in penalty, in judo, we don't say penalty, we say Shido, okay? Shido. And a Shido doesn't hurt your score. Shidos, they don't affect your score at all unless you get 3. It's like 3 strikes, you're out. The third Shido equals Hansoku Make, right? So you're disqualified if you get too many of them, but it doesn't affect your score. You can have 2 Shidos and the other guy has no Shidos and you still win, okay? So don't worry about it, just don't get 3. So what are some very, very, very common Shidos? Some very, very, very common warnings that you'll get. Sure. The first one we're going to talk about is probably the most common. It's stalling. Okay. So what will the referee do? And we'll talk about stalling in a second. The referee will circle their hands together 2 or 3 times and then point to the player who is the offending party and say Shido. Okay. I'll look at them too. Shido. When I do that, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm saying you need to attack if you want to win. And you as a player should go, oh, he's telling me I need to attack if I want to win. Okay, I can do that. And then change your game. Okay? So what happens in stalling? Let's have these guys are gonna go, they're gonna start out. Hajime! They're playing. One of them is attacking the whole time, and the other one is just hanging out. He's just avoiding, he's not going in for anything, okay? This is all right for a little bit, 15 seconds, no problem. That's okay. It starts getting to 25 seconds, 16 to 25 seconds. Maybe now it's gonna be time for Monte. I'm calling Monte because I'm gonna recenter them. And I'm gonna very good. They automatically fix their keys. And now I'm gonna tell Sensei Rob, you're not winning because you're not attacking. When you're not attacking, that means stalling. Judo. And then they're gonna play. And guess what? Sensei Rob now knows he needs to attack. So when I say Hajime, most times the players immediately attack. I can't tell you how many times I've called stalling, and then that player immediately won. Because they realized, oh, shucks, I was in my head too much. I was thinking, stall. Nope. Okay. Let's talk about another one. About probably the second most common one, defensive posture. We'll pick on Rob again, because he's very good at demonstrating. He understands the penalties very well, being a national referee. Okay, so Isaiah is attacking, and Sensei Rob is defending by holding Isaiah out. He has his body stooped a little bit. His arms are straight in front of him. Often his head is down too. Often, okay? This posture starts to encourage the guy who's working really hard to also become defensive. It's important for me as a referee to see who caused this, right? Who was trying and who was trying to keep space because he wasn't sure what to do yet. Maybe he wasn't sure what to do. Maybe he just wanted to not, maybe he's up by a Waza-ari and he just wants to not do anything. I could give him a stalling penalty, right? Or I could more appropriately name his warning as defensive posture. For that, I'm going to bend my body down and put both my fists out in front of me, just like this. That means defensive posture. Judo, okay? When you see this as a player, it means pull your partner in, right? Don't hold them out. You're not getting anywhere by holding them out. You're not going to score by holding them out. Stand up straight, have good posture, and use your arms to pull them in instead of holding them out the whole time, okay? Suppose Sensei Rob was doing defensive posture and I stopped him, and then I said Hajime, but he still didn't attack. Now, a couple seconds later, he still hasn't attacked. He can also do stalling, right? Because he's doing two things really at the same time. He's holding the person so far away that he can't throw him, and then he's still not attacking. I want him to attack because I want him to win. All right, defensive posture. Okay, the next one that I want to talk about are some gripping penalties. So there's some ways to grip that prevent what we call positive judo. They prevent good techniques from happening. So Isaiah might be really good and he's going at it, and he loves the foot sweeps. And Sensei Rob is holding him out a couple different ways. We'll start with the same side grip. All right, same side grip means both of his hands are on one side of his body. It doesn't matter where they are. Could be a sleeve and a lapel, could be a sleeve and his shoulder, it could be a sleeve and over the top grabbing his belt. Go over the top and grab his belt. Right? These are all same side. And it's a very, very assertive grip for Coach Rob. He can throw from here. And as a matter of fact, he should. Stand up. Same side grips are totally legal if you attack immediately. Do you have to attack right that instant? No, not instantaneously. Immediately. As a referee, I usually say immediately. If they haven't attacked, it's time for a penalty. Okay? As players get more and more advanced, you'll see them using those grips to set up their technique. That's totally fine. If they can't get their technique to work, they'll bail on the same side grip and they'll go back to their regular grip. That's totally fine. This is not a problem to use the same side grip. Only a problem to use the same side grip to keep the other person away and to do it for too long. Okay? Same side grips are great for doing judo. They're very bad for preventing the other person. So let's see some other same side, let's see some other gripping issues. So let's do belt grip. This happens a lot. And Sensei Rob can use that belt grip to hold Isaiah out. Now he's blocking Isaiah's hip. Isaiah can't get in to get a throw in because his hip is locked. Okay? This is fine if Sensei Rob's getting ready to do a technique. Boom. No problem. But if Sensei Rob is just exhausted and he's using the belt grip to prevent Isaiah from coming in, now it's going to be a penalty. How long do I wait? Immediately. Mate. Belt grip, Judo, right? Same side grip, Judo. See how my hands are in one line? This means same side. This means belt. Okay. Here's another one. Sensei Rob keeps running away and he won't get a grip. Go ahead. Sensei Rob's trying to stay away. He doesn't want to get a grip, and every time Isaiah tries to get a grip, he just pats him away. Can you do this? Yeah, you can do this. You can do this. You can do it in order to get your perfect grip, but can you do it for a really long time? No. If I see this happening, mate, right? If I see this happening, immediately, mate. Looks like patty cake, right?
It's my favorite penalty call because you should almost
It's
feel like
avoiding the grip, right? You're just hitting his hands away. But as a referee, we do this. Judo, okay? Don't do this. Same side, belt grip, avoiding the grip, okay? We also have a couple ways that we can grab the grip that hold the person's sleeves down. You can do these too, but only if you attack immediately. This is called a pistol grip. Looks like he's holding a pistol, okay? Right here at the sleeve, he can use this to hold Isaiah down so Isaiah can't get in and do a technique. This is no good. It's okay to use this, but immediately throw. Okay. How about this one? Cat's paw. So he's going to make a little hook. Yeah, that's it. Right at the end. And hold it down. Okay. He's just preventing Isaiah from doing judo. If he throws, problem. We like that. If he hangs out, going to be then he's going to have that grip. You'll see it like this, pistol grip, Judo. You may see like this, cat's paw, Judo. Let's talk about leg grabs. We already did belts. Let's talk about leg grabs too. So this happens sometimes, right? When we do techniques, we should not touch below the belt. It's okay if you do accidentally, but we don't want to be playing here, right? This is not okay, right? We don't have those techniques in Olympic judo right now, okay? So if you touch the leg, you'll see the referee cut their leg, Judo. Okay? This doesn't always happen just really obvious like that, okay? Sometimes it happens that Isaiah goes to throw Rob, and Rob is, maybe he's still kneeling down. So take a grip and Rob is kneeling down, okay? So right here, sometimes Sensei Rob may touch the leg in order to prevent the throw. This is a leg grab, right? Because they're considered Hachi Waza. They're throwing. They're not doing Newaza yet. He's standing up. He's up on his knees, okay? Is it possible for Isaiah to throw Sensei Rob for a point here? Yes, absolutely. Do a Sonogari. One leg up, Rob. One leg up. One leg. Oh, here we go. Boom! Ippon! Okay. Now, if Sensei Rob has both his elbows on the mat and both his knees on the mat, this is when there is no longer the possibility of a throw. Okay. Now it has to be newaza. But if he takes one hand and he puts it up here, okay, he can get thrown. He can get put on his back with a technique. Might only be Waza-ari if it's not doesn't have enough force. He can get thrown. So if he can get thrown, then Sensei Rob can't touch the legs. Whenever he can get thrown, can't touch the legs. If he can get through, if he can't get thrown because they're both in newaza, then he can touch the legs. How about my other leg grab situation that happens a lot? How about Sensei Rob tries to do tomoe-nage and it doesn't work really. Okay, so Isaiah, Sensei Rob's going to try and throw you tomoe-nage. You're going to have a good, strong defensive posture and not get thrown. Okay, go ahead. All right, so we're in this position here. And Isaiah says to himself, I'm just going to grab his leg and push it out of the way. You can't do that. Why? Aren't they both in newaza? No. Can Sensei Rob throw Isaiah? Yes, he can. Yes, he can. So when you're standing and the other person has attempted a stemiwaza, you can't touch the legs until after there's no possibility of the stemiwaza working. So in this situation, right, Darius needs to posture up. I'm sorry, Isaiah needs to posture up, get away from there. Yep, make it so there's no chance. Then he can do, well, at this point, they've broken away. Okay. You can't use your hands to move the legs. Okay. Usually by that point, Sensei Rob is going to bail on the throw. And once he has bailed on the throw, then Isaiah is welcome to touch the legs. All right, that's leg grab. The last thing I want to talk about is false attack, which is super duper misunderstood. False attack is a penalty where you try to make, you try to delay the game by doing really bad attacks that you have no intention, you don't think they're really going to, right? But you're just kind of trying to waste time. This happens a lot if you, maybe Sensei Rob is up by Waza-ari, okay? He might not be, okay? It's not when Sensei Rob tries really hard to do an attack and Darius just blocks him. So one very, very common false attack is where you go to do your attack and then you let go. Oh, he lets go of the grip. Okay. If he lets go of the grip, this is almost always false attack. All right. Hold on to the grip the whole way. What does that mean? That means when you go in for your throw, you just need to go in with confidence. Okay. Try to make your throw happen all the way. Don't bail on your own throw by letting go of the grip. What does it look like from the referees? Remember how we had defensive posture with my head down and my arms extended? Well, false attack, my head is up instead. My hands are out and they go down. That means that you went down. Oh, you got a grip and then you just went down. Okay, that's false attack. That would be Judo, false attack. We have a lot of different false attacks. A lot of situations where somebody goes in for the attack, but they don't commit to, right? But this is not a false attack. Okay. For example, Sensei Rob goes in for a tomoe-nage, and he moves Darius, but he doesn't get the throw. Let's see that. But he doesn't get the throw. Is this a false attack? No, he tried. He did a good job. Sometimes we see really bad tomoe-nages where the person doesn't get underneath of the body. They just sit back. Go ahead, let's see that. He puts his foot up and he falls back. Okay, is this false attack? Could be, but in this case, no. Why? Because we could see that Darius was off balance by Sensei Rob's technique. Let's see it where there's no off balance. Maybe like two sleeve. It's fine. No off balance, right? In this case, it looks to me as a referee like he didn't really try a technique. He just bailed on something because he wanted to start doing newaza. We don't have that. We have to let Darius have a fair chance to do his standing techniques. So if Sensei Rob is just trying to bring it down to the ground as fast as he can, like this, with no real technique, this is a very common false attack. So those guys who are interested in doing judo, maybe they do jujitsu a lot. It's okay to do your throws that you do and your takedowns that you do in jujitsu, but make sure that you get your opponent off balance. We need to see their hips move a little bit, okay? Not just your shoulders. We need to see their hips get pulled. When we do, then we say, oh, that person has off balance. That person has confusion. That's not a false attack. Might be a bad attack, but we don't penalize bad judo. Referees don't penalize bad judo. Shouldn't. False attack. Judo. Right? Excellent. Okay, those are all the penalties I want to talk about. But the last thing I want to say is, what's the procedure for if you got 3 penalties? So these guys have been fighting. There's 2 Shidos on the board for Sensei Rob. And I just hit Mate, and Sensei Rob just did false attack. Hansokumake. Notice how I did that? It's a Shido, right? How can he get Hansokumake for a false attack? That's because when it's the 3rd Shido, we say Hansokumake instead of Shido. Right after Hansokumake, we say Surimare. Why? It's off, folks. Now we can stand together. I award the winner. They step back and bow. And that's the end of that. Any questions, guys? I know at home you may have questions. We always see stuff and then it makes us think of more questions. If you do have questions, find your local referee. Or you can always contact Sensei Rob or myself. We can be found at Charleston Self-Defense Academy. If you go to our website, then you can put a little, oh, I have a question, if you can't find us any other way. Or your coach can probably answer your questions. If your coach has a question, please contact me. I am happy to answer questions. Judo rules and understanding how referees think is super important for players and coaches. It's not like a referee thing, okay? This is how players and coaches make the most of their daily practice, all right? Understanding the rules and what the rules are intended to do helps you do better in the judo match. You may have great judo. You may be really good at baseball. You might be really good at hitting a ball. But if you don't understand the inside fly rule, you may never really be good at baseball, right? Same thing in judo, right? You may be very good at throws, but if you don't understand what the rules of the sport are, it's very difficult for you to take that judo knowledge and apply it to the sports side, okay? Which is important. It's a lot of fun and something we all like to do. Okay, that is all I have for us today. So if we could, I think we will turn it back to Mr. Riley.
I'll take it from here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I wanted to thank Darius and Isaiah for their support roles. Thank you, gentlemen. That was very well done.
Yes.
Rob, you did a wonderful job. Please come in. Are you there?
Yes. Hold on. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Here we go.
Guys, now
And
you got thanked.
Thank you, Rob.
First
And
U.S. Olympic medalist,
Really?
Sensei Jim Bregman.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome. And Lisa, I want to thank you very much for an extremely informative and comprehensive presentation. I think every coach, player, and referee should use this video to instruct their students on the beginning rules of judo. And we need to create future referees like Darius and Isaiah so that we can have a well-rounded sports activity. And I'll give you all just one tip from an athlete's point of view. I respect referees greatly, but in a sense, I don't want to give them the opportunity to make a call. I want to throw an Ippon so perfectly that there is absolutely no question of what it is. And if you approach judo that way, you will find the referees are greatly relieved because you absolve them of all responsibility for making a call. You take the responsibility as the player to make the call. Get an Ippon, and the referees will be very happy and award you the match.